And I have the honor to introduce, our very own founder of the Untitled Yang CCE, Mr. Sheng-Ming Shan, and he will be moderating the panel discussion today. And also we have 4 amazing families who have unique education paths for their children. And first we have the Chen family, who chose a hybrid of a private school from 1st to 8th grade and public school to 9th to 12th grade. And both of their children, Jimin and Jesse, went to University of South California, or USC. And second, we have the Yang family, who chose a public school from 1st to 12th grade. And their daughter, Selena, was just in the past May, was admitted to UC Berkeley. And next, we have the Charan family, who chose the other side of the spectrum, a private school from 1st to 12th grade. And their child went to the Rhode Island School of Design. And last but not least, we have the Bodine family, who chose homeschooling from 1st to 12th grade. And the child went to the University of Minnesota. So we trust that you're able to take away from the discussion and the diverse experience that will be shared later. And without further ado, I'll pass on the stage to our moderator, Mr. Shan.
Thank you, Yucong, for the wonderful introduction. And every time I saw him speak, I feel so proud because he is I hate to say product, but he himself does walk through the CCE journey since his high school days. So it's been quite a journey for him and for me to have a pleasure watching him grow. And so my name is Sheng-Ming Shan. I'm the founder of Untitled Yang CCE. And the seed of starting CCE was planted when I was director of engineering at Qualcomm. I was looking at this young man's resume, and I'm wondering what has happened. This guy, he got his bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees, all in different fields. And he doesn't seem to be a good fit for our openings. After spending more than 10 years in post-secondary education, it's heartbreaking to see that he has trouble launching his career. So I ask myself, can anything be done to help him or young people like him? It takes a community to raise a child, and CCE is a community to help young professionals to grow the career, to help college students to explore and launch their career, and for high school students to make their educational choices. And all the services were just mentioned by Yucong. As he fixed the sharing technical difficulty, you might be able to see the slide and link to get connected with us. So if you have any questions, feel free to post on the chat, and Yucong is going to help us to moderate the talk. So Yucong, anytime you see that, you feel free to post a link later. All right, to start with, I'd like to ask a question to our dear young people, most promising one. How did you find your major in college? And did you need to convince your parents? If so, what have you done? Ram, would you mind tell us?
Of course. So I found my major through a career day presentation in which my best friend's mom, who is an architect, presented about her work at Oracle. I also did a summer program called Summer Springboard at UC Berkeley and another program called the Embark Summer Design Academy, which kind of helped me understand what I needed to do and why I loved architecture so much. I did not need to convince my parents because they have been very supportive of me, and I've always been kind of driven, so they trusted me and had confidence in me to execute.
I love the confidence from Ran and the supportive parents. How about you, Rachel?
Yeah, so I was looking through a bunch of majors that I had in mind, and eventually I got a flyer in the mail from a university which said it had product design, which is my current major. And I read through the description, and I was like, this is perfect. And my mom also was looking at the same time. We actually ended up finding the same major around the same time. And we're both like, yeah, this fits really well. So I didn't have to convince my parents at all.
Awesome. How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I grew up in a household where STEM was very encouraged. So naturally, both of my parents were obviously very happy when I really enjoyed math and science. I also really loved solving problems as a kid. And I found that solving them through the medium of computer science was what I loved to do. So without a doubt, CS was my major. Choosing my college was a bit of a wild ride. At first, I did not want to go to USC because everybody in my family went to USC and I wanted to be different. But as I went through high school, I experienced what made me thrive academically and socially. So I ended up knowing that USC was the perfect school for me. And luckily for me, since my parents are very supportive, I did not have to convince them, or they didn't have to convince me to go to any college that they wanted, and they were 100% right there behind me.
Excellent. What a journey, right? You really want to be different. You don't want to be USC again, but again, you really made it. Chen family is what we call USC family, right? All 2 parents and 2 children are the USC. All right, excellent. So Selena, how about you?
So my major, I guess I would be considered undeclared right now, but I'm mostly considering media studies, psychology, or business. So because I'm undeclared, my parents were really helpful in trying to help me research what majors to pick, and they provided a lot of resources for me, such as alumni they knew who had that majors, or friends with majors with careers similar to those majors. So I didn't really have to change their minds in any way. So for picking the college that would be best suited to my major, I used the national rankings as a starting point, and then there did my own research, such as talking to alumni about the environment and career opportunities, to seeing if it seemed like a good fit for me.
Excellent. Well, it's a pride and joy to see Selena being able to talk so fluently, because she is also through the CCE journey with me for some years in the past, and such a pride to see her today. So now, hearing from the students about their firsthand experience, and here is what the parents are most curious about, and some students too. How did you prepare for your application? I know this could be a long answer, but you have to answer it very succinctly. So give it a challenge to start with, Rachel.
Yeah. I honestly didn't really do anything that special. I basically just followed the steps that the application gave me. Like, okay, write an essay. Okay, I wrote an essay. Put in your grades. Okay, I put in the grades. I get a transcript, put in the transcript. I guess the only thing that I really did special was I took the ACT and the SAT and then decided to try for a better score for the ACT. And I ended up taking the ACT 3 times to improve my score. And then I was done. So nothing that special.
Wow, Rachel really make this process so easy, huh? Just fill in a couple of forms, right? People, you got a question for Rachel? Please fill it in the chat box. How about you, Ram?
So for me, I participated in the multiple summer programs, like I said, and I also reached out to an architect through a shared contact. So I had an internship with her, which was really insightful. I then worked with a guidance counselor over the summer to finalize the list of colleges, and also worked on the UC personal insight questions, having a rough draft finished before the end of the summer. Multiple revisions, about 3 to 5 drafts. And then I also worked on my activities list for the Common App and my personal statement for the Common App by the end of the summer. And also, like Rachel had mentioned, filling in some of the personal information, because it's like a block of 2 hours that you can get done pretty easily over the summer.
Excellent, Rim. Very comprehensive. Appreciate it. How about you, Jesse?
I started off my college application process by first going around to see any counselors that I would like to work with. I ended up choosing a private counselor that consisted of a one-person team, because I felt that the personal connection that I had between them was way more valued rather than working with a team of people that just put you through the process robotically. The most important thing that I learned from my private counselor was just truly how to write your essence into your essays. So throughout my college application process, my writing quality has vastly improved. And once I got that down, it was mostly just sticking to a set schedule. And I started quite early into the school year, where essentially I just finished 1 to 2 college essays per week. And once I had that down, I had more than enough extra time to spare to deal with any other extra issue that I found along the way.
Thank you, Jesse. That's very, very precious here. I think by now you heard very diverse journey these young people all through their preparation, right? So some got learned to be authentic, maybe through their own family education or upbringing. Some getting the help from external counselors. Everything is okay. And for the audiences, remind you, we present a very diverse path. And so it's your choice. And so your choice could be very different from any of them. But I want to make sure you guys enjoy your choice. So Selena, how about you?
So I agree with Jesse. I also think that for me, writing the college essays was the most difficult part. And then, to be honest, I there's the common advice that you should start early, you should start brainstorming early, things like that. But I noticed what I had to do a lot of the times was kill my darlings, which was like after I write a draft, I would think I was completely finished with the essay. And then I would get a new idea that was way better. And then it really hurt, but scrapping the entire essay and starting over with something I was much more confident in helped a lot. So in general, I didn't do anything specific to prepare for essays, but I feel like reading a lot, introspection, and brainstorming helps a lot in coming up with ideas.
Excellent. I know Selena is a very good writer. In fact, she also contributes to our CCE Chronicle under the leadership of Yucong. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's a good learning experience.